When stars come out and skies turn deep, it's time for hearts to softly keep the love of God, both big and small, to share with others, one and all. Be kind to friends, both near and far. God sees your heart just where you are. A smile, a hurt, a hug, a gentle word can spread His love through all the world. Your God loves hearts that shine, not stun. Show tenderness, that's all, not stun. The quiet ones who help, not stun. Show tenderness, that shine, not there. When someone stumbles, who help with care.
The Bamboo Dream. Pablo's Mountain Lesson.
High in the misty mountains of China lived Pablo, a playful young panda. He loved to nap, roll down hills, and munch on bamboo. But what Pablo did not love was hard work. Anything that required patience felt like climbing the highest peak. One spring morning, his grandpa approached him with a gentle smile. "Pablo," he said, "it is time to plant your own bamboo garden. It takes care, water, and patience," Grandpa explained, his voice as calm as the mountain stream. Pablo nodded eagerly, his eyes sparkling with the initial excitement of a new adventure. He started with great enthusiasm, digging holes and carefully placing each bamboo shoot into the earth. For a few days, he diligently watered his garden, watching the tiny sprouts with anticipation. But as the days turned into weeks, Pablo grew bored. The slow growth was not as exciting as he had imagined. He abandoned his garden, returning to his favorite pastimes, napping in sun-drenched meadows and rolling down grassy hills. Meanwhile, his friends tended their gardens with care, their bamboo stalks growing taller each day. Weeks turned into months. Pablo glanced at his own garden and saw nothing but dry, empty earth. A wave of sadness washed over him. He felt ashamed and confused. Why did not my bamboo grow? He wondered. He approached Grandpa, his voice barely above a whisper. "Grandpa, I do not understand. I planted my garden, but nothing grew." Grandpa smiled kindly, his eyes filled with wisdom. "Discipline is like watering your dreams, Pablo. You cannot see results right away, but if you stay faithful, life will bloom." Pablo took his advice to heart. He knew it would not be easy, but he was determined to try. The next morning, he woke up early, before the sun had even peeked over the mountain peaks. He began watering his plants daily, carefully nurturing each sprout as it emerged from the earth. He protected them from the wind, building small bamboo fences to shield them from the harsh gusts. Months passed, and slowly but surely, Pablo's garden began to transform. His bamboo stalks grew taller and stronger, their leaves a vibrant, healthy green. Soon his garden became the tallest in the valley, a testament to his hard work and dedication. He had learned that discipline, though challenging, could create lasting rewards. Pablo now understood that even when progress seems slow, daily effort brings life and abundance. From that day on, Pablo approached every task with patience and determination, knowing that with discipline, anything was possible.
Pippa's Arctic Patience.
In the heart of the icy Arctic, Pippa the polar bear stood by a vast frozen lake. Her stomach rumbled with hunger, and her eyes scanned the icy surface, hoping for a sign of fish. Her friend, Nico, the narwhal, surfaced nearby, his long tusk gleaming in the pale sunlight. "Patience, Pippa," he advised gently. "The ice must crack before the fish come near." But Pippa was tired of waiting. She stomped her paws on the ice, hoping to speed things up, but nothing happened. Again and again, she struck the ice with her paws, but no fish appeared, and her paws began to ache. Disappointment washed over her. Sighing heavily, Pippa slumped down onto the cold ice, her dreams of a delicious meal fading away with the winter wind. Then, a gentle memory surfaced, her mother's wise words echoing in her mind. "Good things take time, little one." "Be still," her mother had said, "and the blessings will come." Pippa took a deep breath, remembering the warmth of her mother's embrace. Closing her eyes, Pippa breathed slowly, focusing on the gentle rhythm of her breath, and waited patiently. Hours passed. Like snowflakes in the wind, Pippa remained still, her mind quiet, her heart patient. Suddenly, a faint crack echoed across the frozen lake. Pippa's ears perked up, her senses alert. Crack! Splash! The ice broke open, revealing the dark, shimmering water beneath. Fish began to swim near the surface, their silver scales flashing in the dim light. Pippa's heart leaped with excitement. With a swift, graceful movement, Pippa plunged her paw into the water, expertly catching a large, plump fish. A triumphant smile spread across Pippa's face as she held up her first big meal. Success! Nico surfaced again, his eyes twinkling with pride. "Well done, Pippa. Patience has its rewards." Pippa nodded, finally understanding the true meaning of patience. It was more than just waiting. It was about trusting that the right moment would come, if she remained calm and focused. From that day on, Pippa embraced patience not as a burden, but as a gift. She learned that waiting was not doing nothing, but trusting in the natural rhythm of life. And every time she felt impatient, she remembered her mother's words and found peace in the waiting. Nico often joined her, sharing stories and wisdom as they waited for the right moment together. Together, they discovered that the greatest blessings often come to those who know how to wait. And so, in the quiet heart of the Arctic, Pippa and Nico lived happily, guided by the wisdom of patience. Each day a new lesson, each moment a new opportunity to practice the art of waiting well. For in their world of ice and snow, Pippa and Nico had discovered the warmth of patience and the richness of time.
Benny's Sweet Surprise, a lesson in sharing.
In a cozy forest lived Benny, a bear cub who loved honey more than anything. He kept his honey pot close, never wanting to share even a drop. One sunny morning, his friend Rosie hopped by, her tummy rumbling. "Benny, do you have any honey to share?" Rosie asked politely. Benny clutched his pot tighter and shook his head. "This is all mine," he grumbled. Rosie's ears drooped, and she sighed. "I haven't found any carrots all morning." Benny watched as his friend sadly hopped away. Benny sat alone with his honey. But it didn't taste as sweet as before. He thought about Rosie's sad face and empty basket. He remembered his mama's words. Sharing brings joy to others. And to you. Benny decided to find Rosie. He ran through the forest, calling, Rosie, Rosie. Wait, he spotted her near the berry bushes. Rosie, Benny said, out of breath. I'm sorry. I want to share my honey with you. Rosie's eyes widened. Really, Benny? You would share your honey? Benny nodded, smiling. Benny opened the honey pot, and the sweet scent filled the air. Rosie's nose twitched with delight. They sat together and shared the honey. Rosie's smile was as bright as the sun. This is the best honey ever, Benny, Rosie exclaimed, licking her paws. Benny beamed with pride. As they shared, Benny noticed something wonderful. The honey tasted sweeter than before. He looked at Rosie. Her face lit up with happiness. He finally understood his mama's words. Sharing does bring joy, Benny exclaimed. Rosie giggled, and they continued to enjoy the honey. After they finished the honey, Rosie offered Benny some berries she had found. These are delicious, Rosie, Benny said, munching on the sweet berries. They both laughed. From that day on, Benny always shared his honey. He learned that sharing made everything sweeter. Whenever his friends were hungry, Benny was always there to offer a sweet treat. The forest became a happier place because of Benny's kindness and willingness to share. Rosie and Benny remained the best of friends, always sharing adventures and treats. They learned that the best things in life are even better when shared with friends. And every time they shared, their hearts grew a little bit bigger with joy. So remember, like Benny, sharing brings joy to others, and to you. Be kind, be generous, and always remember the sweet surprise of sharing. The end. Thank you for reading.
Ollie the Bear and the Bullies in the Woods.
Ollie the bear loved berry picking more than anything. He enjoyed the quiet rustle of leaves and the sweet scent of ripe, juicy berries. His favorite spot was a clearing deep in the whispering woods, where the sun always seemed to shine brightest. It was full of plump, red berries. Ollie would hum a happy tune as he carefully placed each perfect berry into his woven basket. His heart felt as full as his basket. But his peace was often disturbed by a group of noisy raccoons. They were known throughout the forest for their boisterous ways. These raccoons would swoop into the clearing with loud chatter and playful shoves, making a big commotion wherever they went. Without a second thought, they would push Ollie aside, scattering his patiently gathered berries. They would then claim the best spots for themselves. Ollie would sigh, his shoulders slumping. He felt a mix of sadness and frustration as he watched them take over his peaceful patch. He would quietly gather the scattered berries, his hum long gone, and slowly retreat from the clearing, leaving the best berries to them. This happened many times. Ollie often wondered why they could not just share, or be a little kinder to others. He felt hurt, but he remembered his mother's words. Ollie, remember to be kind and compassionate, even when others are not. He thought about the important lesson from the big book in the forest library, about forgiving others just as he was forgiven for his own mistakes. One particularly chilly and rainy afternoon, The kind of day that made you want to stay tucked inside. Ollie went out. He was carefully picking berries in a hidden, sheltered nook. This spot was secret and safe from the wind and rain. Suddenly, he heard faint sniffles and shivers coming from deeper within the woods. It sounded like someone was very cold and sad. With his heart thumping a little, Ollie cautiously followed the sounds, clutching his berry basket tightly as he ventured further into the gloomy forest. There, huddled under a dripping fir tree, he found the group of raccoon bullies. They were shivering miserably, their fur matted with rain. They looked so small and helpless, their usual noisy swagger replaced by quiet whimpers. They were clearly cold and very hungry. Their sleek fur was now dull and plastered to their bodies, and their bright, mischievous eyes looked tearful and sad, full of despair. Ollie remembered all the times they had pushed him, scattered his berries, and made him feel unwelcome. He felt a pang of old hurt. But then, a warm feeling spread through his chest. It was a small, quiet voice reminding him of compassion, even for those who had wronged him. Taking a deep breath, Ollie approached them slowly, making sure not to startle them. He did not want to add to their fear. "Are you okay?" he asked softly, his voice gentle and warm, a stark contrast to the cold, wet air around them. The raccoons looked up, startled and surprised. They expected anger, not kindness, from the bear they had always teased. Without a moment's hesitation, Ollie held out his basket, brimming with the fresh, juicy berries he had just picked. "Please, take some," he offered. "And my cave is warm and dry," he added, gesturing towards the direction he had come from. "You can come and shelter there for a while." The raccoons exchanged hesitant glances. Then slowly, carefully, they followed Ollie, not quite believing his unexpected kindness. Inside Ollie's cozy cave, they shared the berries, warmed themselves by a small, friendly fire, and for the first time, truly felt safe. "Why?" One small raccoon finally whispered, his voice still shaky. "Why would you help us after how we treated you?" Ollie smiled warmly, his eyes full of understanding. "Because God forgives me when I make mistakes, and I want to be kind like that too," he explained simply. From that day on, the raccoons understood. They changed their ways and became Ollie's most loyal and best friends, sharing berries and laughter. And so, the Whispering Woods became a kinder, happier, and much more welcoming place for every creature. All thanks to Ollie's loving heart.
A smile